In this episode, I'm chatting with Gene Caballero from GreenPal about how he and a friend founded a tech company despite having absolutely zero tech skills. We talk through how they went from blowing $100,000 of their own money on failed development to growing into the Uber of Lawncare in many states throughout the United States. Let's not waste any more time and jump into this conversation with Gene now.
Well, my name is Gene Caballero, and I'm one of the co-founders of GreenPal. GreenPal has been described as Uber for Lawncare, and we started this company in 2012 and started in Nashville, Tennessee, and now we are in over 40 major cities and 22 states across the United States.
That is awesome, man. So were you always this startup entrepreneurial guy, or what's some of the backstory?
Yeah, so I think everybody wants to be entrepreneurial, likes the idea of being their own boss and stuff like that. And I've always had that. My mom had her own business. My dad had his own business. My dad's dad had his own business. So it kind of ran in the family, but it was more of the traditional, entrepreneurship, retail stuff, nothing, technological like GreenPal. So growing up, I always kind of had the ambitions to do it because, saw the family and had several friends that did it as well. But, when I went to school for television and radio production, and when I graduated, it was there's really not a lot of opportunities here to make money. So I'll just stay in school and party. So I went back and got got my master's. And then when I graduated with that, it was all right, well, just find any job that you possibly can do. And so I started in technical sales for a computer hardware company and stayed there until I was there for 9 years. Wow. Always had visions of starting my own company and doing my own thing and working on my own, and always had friends that we would always discuss trying to do something. And one of my childhood friends, he actually had a landscaping company that he started in high school. I think I was 1 year older than he was. And everybody is, in Nashville had a landscaping company where they were in middle school and high school, like gas money or beer money or whatever. Right. Go knock on Miss door because she's too old to do it. She has to let me mow her lawn for $20. Everybody kind of had that mentality, but my co-founder just kind of took that and kind of ran with it and, grew his landscaping company to be one of the largest landscaping companies in the Nashville area. And like I mentioned, I was in the tech side of things. And, 6-7 years ago was kind of the time where Airbnb, Lyft, they were all kind of gaining traction on the West Coast. And, when my buddy was like, hey, man, I kind of want to get out of this landscaping thing, but, what the hell should I do? Or, what are you going to do? And, we kind of talked about it and, mentioned the Airbnb, people letting strangers come into their houses and, live on a couch for a weekend for, $50. We kind of saw the opportunity in landscaping, hey, if they're going to allow a stranger to come and stay overnight, then at some point people will summon lawn care. So, we kind of toyed around with the idea, wrote up a really shitty business plan and, decided to kind of move forward with it. And that was in 2012. And at the time, obviously, we weren't making any money. Neither one of us knew what we were doing. None of us had any coding experience or anything like that. So I stayed with my corporate job, and GreenPal was my side hustle until about 2 years ago.
Nice. So you were coming home in the afternoons and you were trying to figure it all out. Were you having to outsource a lot of it because you didn't know the technical side?
Yeah. So it was literally my schedule for the corporate job was 7 to 4. And, fortunately, there wasn't really a lot of overtime or anything like that. So as soon as I was done at 4, I would meet at my buddy's house and we'd just start going over things that we wanted to do. And yeah, like you said, neither one of us had any design experience, app building or anything like that. So what we did, we outsourced the first version of GreenPal's website just to a website company here in Nashville. We wrangled with them for probably, I'd say, about a year and a half, 2 years, and spent $100,000 and we got a very, very horrible website and two barely functioning apps. And right then and there, we knew that, hey, if we're going to, be serious about this, we need to have a technological, co-founder on board. And one of our buddies, had kind of been with us through the process and, was involved. And he's like, man, I'll quit my corporate job if I can get into the Nashville Software School and learn how to build websites. So he quit his corporate job, got into the first cohort group of Nashville Software School, learned how to build a website, and he's our CTO and leads all of our growth up to this day. So 3 guys that didn't know what the hell they were doing, now running something that over 6,000 vendors use to grow their businesses. So
nice.
Anybody can do it if we can do it.
How the hell did you spend $100,000 and get a shitty website?
Oh my gosh. Like it's more of like not knowing what you're paying for. The design part of it is this, you need a marketing video, you need this, you need that. And so we really didn't know. We didn't know if we were getting a good deal. We didn't know if we were getting, a shitty deal. We just knew that, back then it was like, oh man, if somebody finds out about our idea, oh my God, they're going to steal this from us and they're going to go to market faster and they're going to be the millionaires that we want to be. And, after reading books, I remember like it was yesterday, Eric Ries's, one of his books is like, you wish somebody would steal your idea. It was that good. Most people say they'll do these things, but they never will. And that was so true. We kept it tight, within the 3 of us and our close friends, but we wanted to get this thing out as soon as possible. So we were paying money to get this thing built as soon as possible so we could launch it. And so, till this day, the only thing we kept from that $100,000, they made a 3-minute video, or actually, no, they made a 1-minute video of like how it works. Animated.
Is that the one on your website now on the homepage?
Yes, that's the one on the website. That's the only thing we kept. It's a $100,000 1-minute video. I joke around with people like, yeah, actually James Cameron directed it. Yeah. It was
so you're describing it as the Uber of lawn care. Can you unpack that a little bit? What does that mean? Like, how does the platform function that makes you describe it as the Uber of lawn care?
Yeah. So if I really had time to explain it to somebody, like in passing, I'm like, yeah, it's Uber for lawn care. But if I actually had the time to explain it to somebody, it's more like not necessarily like an open table. So our platform connects, like OpenTable, hungry people with restaurants that they want to go to. Our app connects homeowners with landscaping professionals in their area. So as great as a convenience it is for a homeowner to be able to find a guy to mow his lawn on the same day, what we're actually doing for the vendor is basically changing his business model. We provide their demand creation, their scheduling, and also the payment processing on the vendor side. So granted, yeah, it's great for the homeowner, but we're really changing the life of the vendor. We feel that if you've got the vendor on board, you've got him customers, you've got him hungry, you've got him doing good work, you can get homeowners. You can always pay for those people. So basically how it works, homeowners come to our website looking for lawn care, pre-screened vendors in the area will then bid on those properties based on the Google aerial view, the Google Street View, the square footage. All those bids go to the homeowner. Homeowner picks who they want to work with. We facilitate the transaction.
That's awesome. So when I think about the vendor side, and this is going to be me stereotyping maybe an industry or a profession, but I don't think of these people as lawn care professionals, because like you said, a lot of these people are probably, they started these businesses when they were like 17 and they just somehow turned into a business, and they really don't know how. They just make some money and they keep going with it, and eventually, if they didn't adapt to something like this, they would go out of business. So how did you convince these people that may not be the most forward thinking people in the world to come into your ecosystem, which is this kind of like brand new age platform that's going to transform their business model?
Yeah. And that's a great question. I think what you have to do is, give them value, help them grow their business without asking for anything out of them. GreenPal is completely free for vendors. So if you wanted to start your landscaping company tomorrow, you have the proper equipment, you have the proper credentials, you get on GreenPal, you can start bidding on properties. It's totally free to bid on properties. How we make money is we take 5% of the transaction. So vendors don't come out of pocket anything, and they're not out of any money. So I think you have to start out with a good value proposition to those guys. Like, okay, yes, nothing's coming out of pocket. No, nothing's going to really happen if we don't bring you any business. You're not paying for anything. So that's the first thing that we figured out. What we did when we first started, we literally got on Craigslist, and people that were looking to mow lawns, we would cold call these guys and just say, hey, I'm launching this company. It's called GreenPal. What it does, it will help you, get more customers. It's going to be free to join. This is how it works. You bid on properties based on the Google area view. Would this be something that you'd be interested in once we get it up and going? And we probably called 400 or 500 people that day. And I think we maybe got about 10 or 15 yeses. And so that's when we knew that, hey, we got to keep it low cost for them to be able to join. And we've got to give them something before we ask them something. So that was the first biggest pain point we had to solve, is like, hey, would these guys be, would they want to join something like this? And so once we got those, those overwhelming, 0.1% yeses, we knew that we needed to pursue it and get the ball rolling on it.
So if we keep going with the whole Uber theme, Uber pissed off a lot of people with their business model, right? So they were putting a lot of like these, especially in like the big cities who had like these little taxi monopolies and stuff. Did you guys, were you upsetting any part of the market with this platform?
Yeah, I think we still upset a lot of people. And it's a lot of vendors that just don't know how our business model works. There are other lead generation sites kind of like ours where you pay per lead or you pay a membership fee. And then they tell you what the price to mow that lawn. We don't 1099 any of the lawn care professionals. They use our platform for free. We take 5%. So they're not our contractual employees. So they're free to bid on properties if they want. They don't have to bid on any properties. So our ecosystem just allows them to make their lives easier by allowing them to win more business, schedule everything through an app, and get paid through an app.
So how did you guys vet these people?
So what we typically do is new vendor comes to our website. They have to upload, obviously, pictures of equipment, pictures of their previous work. And they also have to have a valid social security number and a valid bank account, obviously, so they can get paid. So as far as vetting, like background checks and stuff like that, since we don't actually 1099 these employees, we're not actually able to, to run background checks. But that's kind of the vetting. And we also let the social vetting happen by homeowners being able to, rate and review these guys after the work has been done. We also have algorithmically been able to, let homeowners know that, hey, 89% of the time, John's Lawn Care hits the date that the homeowner wants it mowed. 75% of the time, John's Lawn Care gets booked for ongoing services from his customers. So we present all that information, all that data to the homeowner so they can make their best guess on who they want to work with.
So I imagine there comes times when people may not agree with the reviews that were left on the platform. Any horror stories about this?
Yeah, some people are just insatiable. You could do whatever you want and they're not going to be happy. And, giving the homeowners the ability to review is key. But, what we tell vendors is, you just got to move on from a bad rating. We have a lot of bad ratings too, and it's not anything we've done. It's just, bad vendors gone through or something like that. But most of the time, 99% of the time, people are cool with issues, forgot to mow the backyard or something, got to blow off a deck or a patio or something. Most people are really cool with it. But, the homeowners, to most regular people, they know that, hey, you can't have 5,000 5-star ratings without having a couple of bad,
Right.
bad days. So it kind of works in well for, for the platform that, hey, every once in a while you have a 1 or 2-star rating. It's going to happen.
Do you guys have any other revenue sources besides that 5% built into the platform?
That's it right now. We've kind of toyed around with other avenues, but we figure that's just best to keep this avenue how it is right now and just kind of worry about making more money later down the road.
Yeah. What have you toyed around with? It was like preferred vendors or something like
We
that?
thought about, like having like a preferred vendor, paid, maybe not like for top placement, but maybe just have like an additional badge or be able to upload more information about their company or something like that. But yeah, you kind of just want to keep it an even playing field. It's just kind of tough when you kind of can cater to somebody that can pay that money and stuff like that. So it kind of may skew the results when homeowners are going to pick. So as of right now, we're just going to keep it at just the 5%.
So how did you and your original co-founder, before you guys brought on the CTO, how do you guys separate responsibilities?
So in the first few years, it was kind of like none of us really knew what we were doing. It was just kind of like, okay, I'll do what I can from 7 to 4, during the corporate job. I can do research. I can, send emails. I can do things like that. And then when I get back, I can, try to onboard vendors. I can do my PR and I can do the marketing and stuff like that. So it kind of was like a natural progression of, okay, I only have from 4:30 to about 10 o'clock at night to do these things. So let me do these things while I can. And then, you do the things while I, didn't need to get done. So he was more of the landscaping industry expert, so I was probably better with people and sales and stuff like that. So it kind of worked out perfect for me to pioneer the vendor onboarding and also kind of like the marketing side of things and do a little bit of the design stuff. I kind of taught myself how to do like Photoshop and stuff like that because I can do that at work. So I'm such a great employee, let me tell you.
Model employee.
Yeah, like, what are you doing over there? It's like, nothing, man, just working on this logo, So yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a natural progression that I was able to do what I could do at night, and it just kind of translated into, more of a growth type position for me.
Yeah. Now, did you guys in these early years, did you have any like setbacks or underestimate the challenges of something that almost made you say like, okay, maybe this isn't for us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one was just, paying $100,000 for a website. I think that was kind of like, all right, if we're going to quit, this is the perfect time to quit. I mean, as soon as we literally paid them their money, they actually went out of business. So there wasn't like any going back to them for any services or anything like that. It was just like, all right, well, we can either go, 100%, this way and not look back, or just say, man, we made a really expensive mistake. Let's just keep doing what we're doing and enjoy our lives. So, we just decided, like, at that time we probably had maybe, I'd say 100 or 200 customers, total, and maybe 10 to 15 vendors using it. And, those 10 to 15 vendors are still with us. Well, one is not, because he bought Bitcoin about 4 years ago. He's a Bitcoin shit. And, but yeah, most of those vendors are still with us, and, they're the biggest advocates for us. And, they've helped us along the way as far as, what they liked, what they didn't like, what they would like to see as far as features down the road. So I think after that initial hurdle that we're like, yeah, we're going to continue doing this, there wasn't really anything that was just like okay, yeah, do we really want to keep doing this? So
was that 100K out of your guys' pockets?
Yeah, it was just an initial seed investment between us, and it went quick. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
really
that makes it a bit more painful.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, it's better than having funding or borrowing,
having to owe somebody else.
Yeah, like every time you see somebody at a family reunion, it's like, oh god, I owe this guy $10,000.
Yeah. So before we actually started recording, you told me, I'm in Atlanta, you're in Nashville. You said Atlanta was the second city that you guys moved into. Was there any points along the past, 5 years or however long it's been that you guys have been in business? Were there any kind of moments that had any like hockey stick type growth that made you go from Nashville to Atlanta to these 40 plus other cities?
Yeah, so basically, it was Nashville then Atlanta. We just kind of wanted to do something close to the Nashville landscape as far as weather-wise. And, with more users, you get more feedback on your product. We knew that after Atlanta, we wanted to go somewhere where we could get year-round feedback, not even money at this time. It was just year-round feedback from vendors that were mowing year-round or for homeowners year-round. So, there wasn't really one like huge thing that that just kind of brought us to like this epiphany moment or anything like that. It was just more of a, hey, the more markets we get into, the bigger appeal we can get, the more people we can help, and the more revenue that we can possibly generate. But how we actually decide new markets now is we take our data from the previous year and see, hey, where have homeowners signed up for our service where we don't have any vendors in that area? So we take those top 20, top 25 markets, and then we'll launch those in the following year. So this year we were able to launch 24, 25 markets, and we'll do the same thing for 2019. So we kind of use a little bit of a data-driven type decision-making process to see where we're going to go next.
Was there any exposure or anything like that really helped you guys out?
We realized the power of I guess PR. We had in Tampa when we launched, we actually were fortunate enough to have a reporter write about us and also a TV reporter write about us. And somehow, some way, that damn thing hit on the same day. Like both stories hit on the same day. And I think we had maybe 500 or 600 signups just in Tampa in one day. And I think we had 5 or 6 vendors in that area. So we were just like, oh shit. Like now we know what we need to do when we launch a new city is, get the PR going in that city. Yeah. That was kind of like an epiphany moment. Like, hey, the power of the media is really crucial in launching a market. So that's kind of like the first things that, I spearhead is, try to find some relationships I can build in those outlets. So, we have a positive launch and, vendors have homeowners to bid on.
So I've got a couple questions I want to eventually get to, like if any competition and things like that have popped up in the past years. But I'd like to know, why did it take, I guess it took you around 5 years to quit your job. Why did it take so long?
Yeah. So I guess the first couple of years, when our other co-founder was going to school, there wasn't really a lot for us to do. We had this unusable website that people were going to, and they were just like, what the hell is this thing? So there wasn't a lot of growth or a lot of need for, a third person to just be in the day-to-day grind of trying to figure some shit out that, was going to cost, me a lot of money, which would, knowing that down the road I would have to quit, and that just kind of, would shorten my runway if I quit too early. So that's kind of one of those things that it took a while. We kind of knew that when I was working more for the startup than I was for my corporate job, it was time to go. And we hit that probably in the March or February of 2016. And so, that was when I knew it was like, all right, got this vacation set up perfectly, 2-week vacation, and then dropped my 2-week notice in. And so I had a month of working full time, and it was, worked out to be the right decision. So
what was going through your head when you were like, okay, I need to do this? Like, I've been working at this company, I think you said like 9 years. It's like quote unquote safe and, cushy. Like all you're doing is sounds like researching and creating logos. Like what was it? What was going through your head walking away from that, maybe false safety, but safety nonetheless?
I mean, the biggest thing for me was like, our business model is not where, we're going to be able to just pay people 100 grand a year, the co-founders, because, we make $1 on every lawn mow. That's not the average. So a lot of things that are going through my head was just like, okay, are you sure this is what you want to do? And the safety net aspect of it is just kind of like,
Golden handcuffs. That's the word I was looking for.
I could do my job, with my eyes closed. So it wasn't really that challenging. The people side of it was great, but kind of being in the family tree of entrepreneurs, it's kind of always just itching at you. And, I didn't have any kids, didn't have a family. And, I heard somebody say like, there's never a good time to start a company. You just need to just do it. And that's what I did. And, here I am, still able to feed myself sometimes. So it's been good, man. It's been good. I mean, it helps if you kind of, not to say that I had set myself up great, but I knew that the day was coming at some point. So, you're a little more frugal. Like, do I really need to go on this vacation? Do I really need to buy a new car? Do I need to buy a house? You're just kind of like, all right, I'm going to save this instead. So if I didn't have this, it would have been tough to just quit cold turkey and start something. So it was great to be able to see the progress and being able to do both at the same time.
How much runway do you think you had saved up?
Oh man, I thought I had about 3 or 4 years, but it dwindled to about 2 years. But this year was the first year that we able to pay each other a really meager salary. So it's certainly helped, and our growth has been pretty phenomenal. So next year maybe I'll double my pay or something.
That's awesome. So what about competition? Like, you've got Uber, you've got Lyft, you've had many others that have came and went in that field. Have you guys experienced this as well?
Yeah. So the really good thing about our competition is I don't know if any of them have ever mowed lawns a day in their lives. They kind of have tackled the problem from a consumer side. Like, oh yeah, the consumer, it's a pain in the ass for a consumer to find a lawn guy. We kind of looked at it the other way. Like, okay, if you provide enough value for the vendor, you'll have happy vendors that will bid on these homeowners' properties. So we took the opposite approach and, gave them the power to basically do what they were doing, just kind of do it digitally. And so that's kind of why, getting vendors hasn't been an issue for us as opposed to other companies that kind of compete in the space. So there's always going to be competition. What I tell people, our biggest competitor is still the status quo. A lot of people don't know that they can, order lawn care online and pay everything and have it all done. So, granted, we kind of, our claim to fame is that, we're the first true operating system for landscaping professionals. And last year, I think we had 3,000. This year, we have 6,000. So we're doubling the vendors that we have, and we wouldn't be doing that if we weren't keeping them happy. So
that's awesome. And I want to go back to something we kind of hit on earlier when we were talking about the PR and things like that. But, before you guys went to this PR strategy, you had already went into a few cities already. Like, how in the hell how do people find out about you guys to sign up? Like, how are you getting the message, or how were you getting the message out there and getting people to sign up? Because I think this is the biggest struggle for, people starting a new business is how do they get their product, whether it's digital or physical, in front of people and then convince them to go through the effort to sign up for it. So how are you guys doing that?
Yeah. So when we first started, we knew that advertising was going to be out of our budget, which is in most case any new business, especially with the small percentage that we take. So we knew that SEO was probably going to be our biggest channel for, discovery. So we started our SEO campaign probably 4 years ago, which if people don't realize, the power of SEO, it's amazing, but there's no really like magic bullet for that. We have, we're constantly doing link building campaigns. We're doing backlink backlinking campaigns. We're doing PR. We're doing local SEO. So we're doing, 5 or 6 different, SEO methodologies to bring up our domain authority. But with that, it just takes a lot of time. So 4 years ago, we started this strategy, and it's worked out really, really well for us. So other than, the occasional PR hit when we do launch in new markets, SEO has been our first and, kind of what we're hitching our chain to. And if I had to, give anybody a piece of advice, I would start, even if you haven't started, your business yet, you can start a blog. You can get your people to sign up for your newsletter, stuff like that. So you can start getting that fan base, that awareness of who you are. Then once you do kind of launch your business, you can have those contacts and start, pitching your product or your services to those people that are following you. So SEO just needs to be started as soon as possible, just to kind of get that juice going for your company.
Were you the SEO expert?
No, I was not. I was not the SEO expert. Zach was the SEO expert. He kind of did his homework for 6 months and kind of figured out what we needed to do, what would help us grow, and that's kind of what we've been doing for 3 or 4 years, and it's worked out well. And till this day we haven't. We dabbled in Facebook advertising. I think like the first year, and spent like $3,000 or $4,000 on it, and it just didn't pan out. So we just like, all right, SEO is it. No more PR, no more marketing dollars, no more advertising dollars.
It's free. It's organic traffic. You don't have to pay for it.
It's a different language though. You got to know it. You got to understand it to be able to practice it. But it works. It really does.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, I had, there's a guy I interviewed, I think he was episode 23. His name's Greg Jeffries. And this is what he does is he just focuses on like SEO from an affiliate marketing standpoint. So he builds all these websites based around like products and things like that. And he just implements all these SEO strategies like you're mentioning, and he drives traffic to these sites. People buy the products, he gets a commission, and he's crushing it, but he's all in the SEO side of things as well. So if anybody's listening and, SEO sounds interesting, go check out episode 23 as well. You'll hear some more in depth on some other ways that you can use that strategy as well. So cool. So where do you guys see GreenPal in the next 12 months? So
our goal in 2019 is to be in the top 100 major markets across the United States. We figure that once we're kind of ingrained ourselves in those markets, we can start hitting those sub markets and growing our business even more. Sub market meaning like in your case, Atlanta is a major market, but you've got Douglasville, you've got Marietta, you've got those sub-markets that, they need to be launched as well. The reason being is because landscaping professionals, they don't drive farther than 5 to 10 miles of their radius. They don't make money if they're driving. So, to ensure that, we have liquidity in all those markets, you got to drive traffic to them. So that's our goal, 100 major markets by 2019, and then circle back and hit a lot of these major sub-markets and just trying to grow revenue.
With no backing.
No backing, bootstrapped 100%.
That's awesome, man. So where can people find out more about GreenPal?
You can go to our website, it's yourgreenpal.com. You can download the app, Play Store or the Apple Store. It's just GreenPal.
No, that's awesome. I know looking at the podcast analytics, I have a lot of listeners in the Atlanta area. So if you're in Atlanta or one of the major cities, be sure to go download the app. And if you own a house with a front yard, get it mowed. Use GreenPal.
Yeah, life's too short to mow lawn yourself.
There you go. Tagline. Awesome, Gene. Well, I really appreciate you hanging out. For us, it's a Friday afternoon, and I know we're on the same time zone, so it's about 6:15 our time. Thanks again for coming out, hanging out, talking to the Hustle to Freedom audience, and we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. See you, Gene.
All right. Bye-bye.